What is it that a man brings to the table that a woman cannot do?
Because you can do all these things by yourself doesn't mean your outcomes are actually better. Describe, let's talk about it.
If women can make money, pay bills, take care of herself, provide for a household, have her own household, have her own bank account, have her own home, give birth to babies, take care of those babies, feed those babies without a man, what is it that a man brings to the table that a woman cannot do besides that one thing that you do to help make a baby? Please tell me what men can do that women can't do.
So let's have this real conversation real quick, right? You can do all these things, right? You're strong, you're independent, you can do all of these things, but let's be real about quality. There's a qualitative difference when you do these things in a marriage with a man or the way you do these things in the marriage with a woman. You have to look at the actual statistics, not the TikTok, the things you get from TikTok, not the social media things, not the pieces that make you feel better about yourself, better about your situation. You don't have anyone, so let me turn it, let me cope and make it seem as if, I never needed anyone. I got it. I don't need you to do this. I'm going to live the best life I can by myself. Part of that is because you can't find the man that you want. Let's be real. You can't find the partner you want, so you cope and pretend like, I never needed it. This is a childish way of thinking. Toddlers think about this. You reason like a child instead of saying, listen, I can't get the thing I want. Let me start making changes. Let me go where I need to go to find the type of people, to get around the people that have those things. Let me ditch the single friends. Let me find the married people. Let me find what did they do to get where they are. This requires work, and this requires some introspective thinking that you do not want to do. We don't advocate for this. We don't push for it. We do the pseudo doing the work, and you end up being the same person you were before that relationship, before that trauma. You are the same person afterward. You didn't do anything. You grabbed the journal. You said, I'm doing the work. You joined a book club. You said, I'm doing the work. You go to therapy. You talk about inane things. You don't really push in. You don't really tell them the truth about your scenarios. You walk out the same person. You call yourself healed, and then you get the same results. So instead of doing all that work, you just say, I can do it all by myself. And then you go out and do it. And then you come out here complaining these men are failing to step up. What are we supposed to step up to? What are we supposed to step up with? Realistically, this is a scenario. Statistically, you do better married. You higher net worth, you live longer, despite all that nonsense to start telling you that these men drain this X, Y, and Z. No, look up the data yourself. You live longer, you have better health outcomes, you report better on a wellness scale, on a happiness scale. You report actually higher when you're with someone. They share that emotional load. You're so quick to think about the worst case scenario, you never do the justice of saying, what if it all goes right? What if you actually find a person, you do the work, and you live a better life together? But it's so easy to use and fall into that negative bias that we all as humans have. And you think, I don't need you to do this. Cool. You don't need someone to do that. Walk that path. Your net worth suffers, right? You die sooner. You experience more heartbreak in your life. Cool. Keep walking that path. Then you have the kids. And you say, I don't need a man to raise these kids, and they have poorer outcomes. Okay. So now it's not just a thing that your own ego prevents you from seeing. Now your own ego prevents you from giving your children the best shot at actual happy, fulfilled life. Okay, we go another step further. Those same children end up inheriting your same curses, the same ideals, the same outlook. They move through life the same way you did. I don't need someone. I don't need a man. There's no man in that family. That son has no example of what it means to be a man. Statistically, what happens? He goes to jail. He has poor impulse control. He's emotional. He lashes out. He leans into the violence, into that, because it's easier to deal with that than mask his actual emotions. Okay, but now he falls into that same category. He went from being an adorable 7-year-old to now he's an adult at 13 years old, and the rest of the world tells him, you ain't shit. And what does he have? What umbrella protection does he have for that? No, he's got emotions on. He wears his emotion on his sleeve. He's taken that. He feels every bit of that. So what happens? He ends up slashing out. But then you want to go back and say, well, it's because the men failed to do something. You just started this whole thing by saying, I can do everything you can do. I don't need you. We believe that, we hear that, we understand that. Men also understand that. I don't really need you to have this family outside of that one thing you do, right? That one thing you do. That's what I need you for. If I can adopt, if I can go, and if I can make enough money to, get a surrogate, what do I need you for? Now we go back to the stats. Men raising kids by themselves because they're more disciplined, because they don't treat you the same way. They don't coddle you as much. Their children have better outcomes. Is it harder for everyone being a single parent? Absolutely, it's harder. Absolutely, it's harder. But when the whole thing that we're missing here is that it's very simple. Very simple. We're supposed to be better at this together. If you don't want to do the thing together, then employ you. Just don't have a child. Right? Live your own life. No one can tell you what bounds you can live that life in. But when you take this ideal, when you've adopted this, when you haven't really pressure tested it in your life or pressure tested it and had honest conversations with women that walk this path, I think if you were in a vacuum and had the ability to be real with each other, you say, yeah, don't do it like I did. That's some of the greatest advice that a generation before can pass on to the new world. Don't do it like I did. Use me as an example. Instead, what do we have? We have all this copium going around. No, you don't need a man. I did it. Look what I did. Look how it turned out. You don't need a man. But you're not being honest with each other. We're not being honest with each other. Say, no, it's difficult being alone. I get lonely. I feel like I squandered my time. I regret. I have so many regrets. I wish I've done this better. I wish I'd known this earlier. You have to part and parcel what you see from a lot of these people when they have their podcasts, and from the famous people, Nia Long, right? When she's talking, you gotta look in between and say, okay, what happened here? What happened here? Taraji B, what happened here? You guys were the epitome. You guys were the goal. And you say, well, how come you couldn't make it work? We don't have these honest conversations with each other and say, yeah, I put this before everything else. This is a consequence of that. I wanted this. I listened to the world. The world said I should be like this. Specifically in the Black community, we need to start thinking more insular. We need to block out these extraneous examples of what's happening with all these other people, with all these other races. Yeah, that's good for you. That doesn't really make sense here. We have our own set of problems, our own set of difficulties of actually pushing forward. When you're behind on the 8 ball, you can't run the race like you're in first place. We're running the race like we're in first place. Yo, I don't need a man. You always needed one. In our community, we always needed one. You don't have the luxury of espousing this nonsense, this rhetoric, especially when, if you want to look at this competition, when you want to look at white women's competition, they know the value of partnership. You can look at it in their stats. They may dress up, they may play, they may act, they may talk like you, they may visit you down here and egg you on, but in reality, they know, yeah, I'm better together with my husband, and that even includes me working. We can do a lot better together for our children, for our outcomes, if we're doing this together. They may play act, they may sound like you, but they don't treat their men the same way. They get better outcomes. You don't hear other races saying, yo, I don't need a man. It's only when they're pretending to be black, when they're pretending to be ghetto. That's when you hear this nonsense. In reality, we need each other in order for us to advance properly, safely, in a way that builds a healthy foundation going forward. She starts this by saying, what can a man do? Stability, companionship, protection, provision, right? That type of stability that keeps you from going off the rails. That type of stability that stops you from saying, hey, I'm in a bad mood. Let me compulsively spend on this. Hey, I'm in a bad mood. Let me treat myself to this. Hey, I don't know what's going on. Hey, here's the rock where you can rest. You can flip it. What does a man need a woman for? I don't have anything I can do in my life where I can afford, where I can pay for femininity. I don't have that guiding light that says this is an aspirational thing. You want to do better in your life? Okay, I'm living in a 1-bedroom, or I got a studio apartment. I've got money saved, but I don't see no purpose in doing better. I don't see the soft sides of life. I don't take care of my body the way I should. You know who helps you do that? Women. They inspire you to say, hey, maybe I should be doing better. Maybe I should be preparing a place for my family. Hey, I want a family. She can make that happen. We can make that thing happen together. So when we pretend like we don't need each other, we're just confining ourselves to the same race. You're trying to run a 100-meter sprint with one leg and trying to break a world record. How? Now, to be fair, women that have this type of ideal, this type of thought process, you think like this, I got to leave you alone. Right? I got to leave you alone. We don't have time, nor are we responsible for changing your way of thinking. If this is how you think, I'm not going to sit with you and try to convince you that you need to do better, that you need something else. I'm going to leave you in your coat. I'm going to leave you right there. And maybe you do have that fantastic life that you're dreaming of, that you say you don't need men for. Cool. Detach with love. I don't care, nor am I invested in your outcomes. I just wish you well. This is going to be the solution. We're going to have to separate and elevate. We're going to find a way to get what we need, to do what we can with the people that think like us, and then we're going to get off the internet. We're going to leave everyone else, say, keep fighting, keep circling drain, keep doing all that nonsense. Find someone that can work with you, and you guys work together and do what you got to do. That's what's happening in the real world. And I know it's not popular to say on social media, but that's actually happening. You come here, you basically yell out all your trauma. You show it for the world to see, and then look around confused. Why men aren't signing up for this? It's the dumbest thing we do constantly. Look, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to Sound My Voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. Just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.